Speaks here this morning with Chris Horn, a prominent member of the Alabama Republican Party who has ran a state house campaign and for a statewide campaign for Secretary of State, and now holds a position as, what is it, North Alabama Director or?
I serve as the Tennessee Valley Republican Club chairman, and I am the North Alabama Director of Outreach for the Republican Party.
So what exactly does that do for people who don't understand?
Well, Chairman John Wall, probably 2 years ago, adopted a policy that he wanted to be able to do outreach and do it in a way that is aggressive but also foundational. He worked specifically with quite a few who had been really active in different regions of the state. Mr. Pascal, the State House representative, is in fact the leader of the organization, and I am the leader for the North Alabama region. And my hope and goal is to expand the conservative party and to be able to do so in a way that Republicans will have a on board for those who are new to the Republican Party, those who are interested, whether they are African American, Hispanic, whether they are people who just moved to the state, military and military veteran families, and those who are just curious about the Republican Party. And so we started by starting to launch small events, and we're going to be doing more of those this year. And this is a way for us to expand, not only expand in local communities, but also expand on college campuses. So I've worked with the leaders on college campuses who are Republican, and especially even the University of Alabama this year, when they brought in Mike Pence. And that's a way to get young kids interested in the party. So when we say outreach on my side, mine is multifaceted. It's not just a racial component, but it's a component that deals with military veterans, with students, with the young, with those who are maybe even thinking about crossing over to the party, and how that process works.
Yes, a great idea you mentioned that about college campuses, because I've said for so long that's the greatest untapped resource for both parties is 18 to 24-year-olds, because, they don't vote. So let me ask you, as an African-American, when did you decide or realize that you were a conservative or you're a Republican?
Well, as a human being, I've been a conservative Christian all my life. My grandfather was a pastor at 2 churches in Jefferson County. So for me, the values of the Republican Party fit best for me. One that was socially conservative, that basically embraced or allowed me to embrace my Christian faith, and one that was fiscally conservative. And to answer your question, probably when I was in high school, I knew I was very conservative. And I continued that on through college. I attended the University of Michigan and got involved in some of the organizations, and everything went from there.
It's interesting you said that, because I've made comments somebody the other day that the Republican Party could make so many inroads with the African American community, because, like you said, they are socially conservative, religious people. I don't know why more's not been done by the Republican Party. I will say something. Let me say this right here, and this I don't know how to say it. It seems to me that the Democrats come around every 4 years and promise the black community this and give them crumbs off the table, and they've almost kept them in a state of, for a better word, sort of slavery. It's that they can't, perpetual poverty that they can't get out of. Why are the Republican Party not coming out offering more as far as job education, job skills, something to get them out of this vicious cycle?
Well, I will say, I don't think the word slavery is a little bit strong. I think that the reality is that traditionally African Americans who understand who they are conservative. Most often, they're not really African. That's number one. These are Alabama descendants and talking local. And these descendants of slavery who happen to be descendants of the slave trade now are different. Because what they have endured in terms of from the slave ship to the Apollo spaceship here in Norfolk. It's an amazing story. My family comes from the Clotilda community, which is in Mobile, Alabama. The Clotilda was the last slave ship to the United States of America. And my father ended up working at Redstone Arsenal in computer labs that helped power the Apollo spaceship. So when you have that kind of a story, where you have a grandmother like mine who came from the cotton fields of Dallas County and lived right under the bridge in Selma, who moved over to Moody, and then married a coal miner, iron ore miner in Birmingham. That's a great story. And for us, we have been trapped into this dementia of having to follow a certain party. Well, for so long, there was only one party. It was the Democrat Party. It happened to be a party that was the party of people like, I don't know, George Wallace, right? So you have this opportunity, you have an opportunity to influence the community. It's been the only opportunity that they know. Now, the Republican Party now versus then is totally different. I think the Democrats know that, and I think that people like Joe Reed, who run the Democrat Party in Alabama, are very worried that he's being infiltrated, his party's being infiltrated by Northerners and those who have been on the margins of the community. They've always been LGBTQ African Americans, as they call it. The descendants of Alabama, they're more conservative, and there's a big fight going on within the Democrat Party, whether or not it's going to be the veterans and sons and daughters of the U.S. Army who have to be essential slavery, or is it the new flag, what they call it, the rainbow flag of LGBTQ? So I think how that shakes out, I think more and more descendants of slavery will start to come to the Republican Party because they don't agree with the ideology of where the Democrat Party is taking them right now.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day about the Democratic Party, and I was mentioning that Bill Clinton, he could not win the Democratic nomination today because they went so far out there that mainstream America just cannot connect with them. And this seems like a prime, time for the Republican Party to make advancements. When your African American friends, how do they that are Democrats? How do they feel, or how do they react when you're Republican? Or
well, I really have not had a problem at all. So for me, it's never been a situation where I've had to be bothered by that. And so I look forward and do the things that I need to do, but I never really have had a problem at it, honestly.
Well, let me ask you this: have you experienced any racism towards you from members of the Republican Party?
I've never received racism toward me directly. Absolutely not. What people say behind their backs or my back may be different. But I have been given a platform with the Republican Party in the state of Alabama or the state of Michigan or wherever I've lived. I've always been embraced warmly, especially here in Alabama. I have been the only descendant of slavery here in Alabama to be over a club, one of the larger clubs, for as long as I have. I think there's one of them now. And probably one of the only few in the United States who has a designated club that has been a part of the state party, the Tennessee Valley Republican Club up here in North Alabama. I've been able to serve the state on multiple levels when it comes down to advancing outreach, as we were talking earlier today. And I've been able to be very close in terms of working on major campaigns and getting to know great candidates across the state, whether they are local office or Katie Britt or Coke Tuttleville, who I've known a very long time. So for me, I've always found that people in organizations will have their preferences, and when you enter an organization for the very first time, it's not easy. I mean, you just don't walk in and just start your way at the top. It just doesn't work like that. And I think a lot of people get that confused, that that's that it's more operational from an organization standpoint, and knowing like any organization, when you come in, people want to know, are you the real deal or are you fake? And that happened to me. I had to earn my stripes. I came in not trying to be the leader. I came in trying to sow seeds. I came in trying to serve. How can I help? How can I earn the trust of the people in the Republican Party, even though I'd earned it in other states? How do I make certain that I'm a part of the team and be a team guy first? And as I advanced as a team player and worked on campaigns, and not thinking I could come in and just, hey, I'm running for office. It's just disrespectful to do it that way. And because I chose the route that I chose, I was able to move up and I was able to run for Secretary of State and come in third place. So out of 5 or 6. So for me, I think that I hope that I've opened the door for others, but I would like other people to come in, especially those who are in the minority, to understand, hey, listen, hey man, you come to this party, roll your sleeves up, go to work, and the rest will take care of itself.
So let me ask you another sort of question. And I don't think that either one of them are racist people by no means, but when we see this like with Governor Ivey when she signed the law to protect the Confederate monuments, and then we heard Trump in the debate say, tell the Proud Boys or whatever, to stand back and stand by. I mean, how does that make you feel? Do you think they're just trying to rally their base, or what are they doing?
I'm a Christian Horn Republican, right? So for me, I don't look to the left and look to the right as if every Republican thinks the same, and that's the misconception. That's how the media, especially national media, is always doing a good job of controlling the narrative with the Republicans and communicating that to people to hate Republicans. What other Republicans do is what they do, and Republicans are a different type of organization. Meaning that we don't all think the same. We're not a monolith. We're not a gang. We're not a group that's just going to fall in line. So we obviously have different positions on that. I'm a student of history. I love history. Just like I said, the slave ship was just unearthed from the murky waters of Mobile back in 2020, I think. So I've always knew and understood how important it is that artifacts of history are preserved. I don't all the way back to whether they're Native American artifacts, that I've helped them try to preserve. So for me, I'm not a tear down a monument guy, and I'm a guy who believes deeply that monuments should be preserved. They should be where they are, and continue to tell a story is to build new monuments or new spaces and places to tell alternate stories or updated stories. So if you erase your past, you're going to even if it's an ugly past, even if it's an ugly past that you don't like. But what I do know is growing up at 4 years in Germany, which I did, I grew up in areas that had castles that were thousands of years old, that had, Dachau and Auschwitz, which horrific places where Hitler gassed our Jewish brothers and sisters. So, those things are still there. And I think what has to happen is when you have these conversations about what you do with history, you leave history alone. Let it speak for itself. Let those monuments stand. And then you build new monuments to tell your story, and continue to do that as society advances. So there are Republicans who agree with that for different reasons. That's the reason why I believe to support it. And I was one of those who supported that bill not to tear down monuments, and it had nothing to do with Confederacy. I was the one who was out front on the bill to preserve monuments because I went to a high school that was a legendary high school called Gerald Johnson High School in Huntsville, Alabama. That was the largest high school in 1972 to be opened as the largest school that was diverse, black and white population, people going to school together. It's the largest in the state, one of the largest in the South. And they moved to close that school. So what they did first, they wanted to change the name, and then they tore it down. And effectively, they end up tearing down the school that stood for people coming together back in 1972, black and white. And that's how I got involved and say, hey, this should never, ever happen. And it did. So that's one of the reasons why I got involved in writing this piece. And it's one of the reasons why I support minorities, is I think that my own legacy, heritage, and tradition, my community was torn down, where we had black and white folks coming together and having a great school for many, many years. And then it was torn down.
So what about like the Trump, the statements Trump made? Like Charlottesville, he said there's good people on both sides and bad. Do you think I don't think Donald Trump was racist. I don't know if something just fell off the tongue wrong. I don't know what he was thinking during those moments.
I don't make an excuse for what Donald Trump has done or what he said. Trump is Trump. He's going to do Trump. I can't control what he says. I can't control the outcome of what he says. I can control what he does or the outcome of what he does. And so, I can't really speak on that. You have the power of the tongue, as the Bible says. His life and death is in the power of the tongue. If you're not wise with your tongue, then you can absolutely create situations that are harmful to you and others and the people that you represent. And that includes Republicans. So, I do not know completely what his intent. I don't know his heart. I don't know what his methods and modes. I can see what he does. But again, for me, I don't make any excuses for him. That's up to him. And I think that's what people get caught up. What's important is how I feel about certain situations, how I communicate that to myself and to my God, and be able to understand how I communicate that to people who don't even look like me. So that's one of the things that I really and truly don't ever do. I don't get involved in or make excuses for other people in my party because I'm trying to be the best that I can be.
You mentioned a while ago Governor Wallace, and remind me of this monument. One of the things that I think is wrong. They're taking some of his names down off buildings, like at universities.
Right.
And I know if people, you said you're a student of history, I guess you know all about the '58 race, when he was actually, the liberal on the race issue, and how he changed over the years. It is what it is. I don't think we should throw the baby out with the bathwater, if that makes sense. There was a lot of things that George Wallace did bring to the state, despite the hurt that he did, and I just think it's a mistake to take his name off the off the buildings. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, when it comes down, again, I'm very consistent. George Wallace himself, right? Someone who was an ardent racist, who advanced white supremacist policies, and who stood in the door of education, but also in the door of opportunity when Vivian Malone was trying to become a member of the University of Alabama's class, right? So he also was there when my mother was located at Kelly Ingram Park. My mother, my aunts, were bitten at by those dogs, were beaten by those dogs under his hands. So I have first-hand family experience in terms of understanding that. But this is the same black folks and the same descendants of slavery in Alabama that turned around and forgave George Wallace and consistently voted for him for anything that he could run for. If he ran for dog catcher, it didn't matter. The black vote came out and voted for him, even though he had been so abusive to them over the years, right?
So that's what won the '82 race for him.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's what won the '82 race for him against George McMillan. McMillan thought he was going to get 90% of the black vote, and Wallace got like half.
That's facts. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So I think that you will be able to deplore my comments and be able to say, hey, listen, that's negative, or you can uplift and amplify what I'm saying, which is clearly that, hey, look, I'm not someone who's apologetics. I don't deal with apologetics and what he did, but I do want my kids and grandkids to absolutely know who he is Whether or not people don't like the signage or whatever it may be, then they can take a vote and say they want to take it down. But I don't believe in changing monuments. I just don't. I think that if you have a building named after Wallace, that you also should have a section of that building inside that building or outside on a placard that tells the entire story. And I think that's important. I really do. But it's also important that if you get rid of Wallace's name, then you forget who Wallace was. If you forget who Wallace was, you forget who Alabama was. And so that's where I stand on that.
That's a good point right there. So let me ask you this. So tell me about your first race. You ran for the House, State House, or House? I guess there's State Senate.
Yeah, that was State House, and I was able to do so because our party did not have a representative in that district. It was one of the things, the first areas that I wanted to do is commit myself to being a very important person. And the reason why I want to get in that race was because so often Democrats run in areas and they're the only one on the ballot. So it was an opportunity for, even if it was a 75, 85% district, actually 85% Democrat district, no chance at winning. What was an opportunity that was gained was to do outreach. Say, hey, listen, I represent the Republican Party, but I represent me first, my God first, rather me second, my community, and this is the reason why I'm running, and I happen to be a Republican. So there have been people who have been voting Republican since I ran. I'm very proud of that. I think it's important. I think that we should never leave an empty space. That's one of the things the Democrats do all the time that hurt them, is that in so many races, there are no opponents for the Republican Party, especially some of your county races. I think that's a big mistake. It hurts Democrats, but it hurts society not to have a healthy debate on ideas. And then you get Republicans who automatically who win, and they don't feel beholden to their community because they didn't have to run against anyone. So for me, running at that point, 2014 was important, and I'm very proud of doing that.
Your race for Secretary of State, I know there's no such thing as moral victories, but running against two guys with a lot of name recognition and well-funded, third was, pretty good showing. I know obviously you want to win, but how did you feel about it? Was you proud of your showing, or
absolutely. Absolutely. Running for Secretary of State is probably one of the greatest things to happen in the state of Alabama for Alabama. We talk about pre-Civil War Alabama, Jim Crow, and then we talk about the Wallace area. I think having a Secretary of State who has a great hand, like I did, resonated to not only Republicans but Democrats, because that position is special. That position is sacred because it's about voting. That's what the Secretary of State is also about, being able to help preserve history and some of the things that they do. So the Secretary of State's position was one that I was very not just curious about, but I was more interested in running for that than a governor position, because like we're going through right now, is that, hey, listen, we're going to be going through this Voting Rights Act, the VRA, and even right now, the state house in Alabama is trying to come up with a map, a congressional map by the Supreme Court. I said it back when I was running, that the current situation was going to result in a new map. I was right. And ultimately, I got a great showing in all those places in South Alabama, Selma, and also in areas that Coleman, for instance, did well in Coleman, which
really, Coleman County?
Coleman, Alabama, probably one of them, but I was invited there 5 times to speak. So, in the areas where people think, a descendant of slavery would not be welcomed, I was able to go into those places and do very, very well, and still have great relationships. So, running statewide against an incumbent, like two incumbents, right? Because Ziegler has been the auditor for a very, very long time, and Wes Allen is essentially because he already is an elected official in the state house.
And Eddie is too.
Who's that? Who's that?
His daddy's in the.
And his daddy is exactly. So you got a family that you're running against that ended up winning. You know, with a dad who was over in East Alabama, he was over in West Alabama, West Alabama, vice versa. But I do think that is important. So I want people to know that, hey, listen, I started out running a local race, did not win, and then waited my time almost 6-7 years later. And in between time, I had a brain injury. So I had to rebuild my life after 2014, and a couple years later, I had a brain aneurysm, was able to learn how to walk and talk again. I was paralyzed from the neck down, and my first opportunity to run, I did. I also have worked on a few campaigns. I worked on a campaign for Tommy Tuberville very hard, and it was on his transition team and still working Coach Tuberville. So, next time around, if I do run again, I'm going to be formidable because touching all 67 counties, learning from guys who know everything, like John, who was the Secretary of State before then, John Merrill.
John Merrill, thank the world, John.
Yeah, John Merrill taught me a lot of the ropes. The best retail politician in the state of Alabama, without a doubt.
One of the best, I've ever seen. Thing I love about John Merrill is I can call him right now and he'd answer the phone.
That's John Merrill. That's what he does, man.
I mean, he answered the phone one time at a Alabama girls basketball game. So, all right, so I got a tough question for you. I was talking to a friend the other day and I was telling about you and I was like, man, I was talking to this guy for 2 minutes and I realized my level of intelligence was here and his was way up here, and just his pragmatic thinking, the way he could look at a problem and see all angles of it and want to walk himself through it step by step until he came to a fair conclusion just amazed me. It just amazed me at this guy and his intellect. And we've seen it with South Carolina, with like Tim Scott. Do you think that being black hurts you with voters in the state? Do you think it's possible for you to get elected as a black man here?
Absolutely. I mean, the reality is that being a descendant of slavery is one thing. Acting like a slave is a different thing. Right? So what people want is people like you and I, everyday people who understand what it means to pay for high gas, who understand what it means to be treated equally when you see so many people getting advantages from their family relationships, like a Joe Biden's son. People who really maybe have been racist, come from families that had racial views that don't align with today. I mean, it is what it is. I'm in Alabama, I'm in the South, and being a black skin can become a detriment to some people who just can't see past it. That's fine. But what I try to intersect is that we can share the same faith. Most Alabamians believe in Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And I appeal to that belief honestly that God doesn't say that Black Lives Matter. What He commands is that all of His children matter equally. And if they can connect with that, then we have a conversation that goes way beyond politics. Because at the end of the day, God cares about winning souls for the kingdom. That's what I do. And ultimately, if political parts of that conversation happen, if someone has to look at my skin and make a decision, then that's fine too. So it's just like sports to me. Life is sports, sports is life. You have what you may think is weaknesses is a strength. Maybe one voter in that house says, "Oh, he's black. I'm not going to vote for him." Then maybe somebody else says, "Hey, I want to vote for someone who shares our values." So we speak to those values and ask people whether they want to share those values. Because look, there are a lot of people who are white, who have blonde hair and blue eyes, just like Joe Biden's family. And I guarantee you, they won't vote for Joe Biden. And that's the way I look at it. So you use that philosophy to make determination from there.
I mean, I hope that you're right, that it's we have advanced past that someone wouldn't vote against somebody because of their skin color. I mean, it's like, you could be governor or with a presidential run. I mean, I'm that impressed by talking with you. Yeah, I was talking to a friend the other day, and we got into kind of a conversation like this, and I asked him, I said, if a gay person was running for office, would it prevent you from voting for them? And he had to think for a minute and goes, well, yeah. And he said, would it you? And I said, no. I said, not necessarily. I said, that wouldn't keep me, even though I may not, subscribe to, I'm not going to go, you're not going to see me in a gay pride parade or anything like that. But I think that how am I wording this? The LGBT community has been brought back out to the forefront because they have forced this transgender stuff down our throats. And I think that's started hurting them again. I mean, why are we kowtowing to 1.5% of the people?
Because it's an excellent distraction from talking about the things that are deeper matter. We're spending billions of dollars in Ukraine, and a lot of people don't even understand what we're involved in. And we are doing things such as transitioning away from a combustion economy and going into an electrified economy. That's why car prices are out the roof. People can't buy a used car. It's a good distraction away from talking about the high cost of gas, bacon, milk, and raising children. It's a way to do that. It's also a good way to keep you distracted by talking about pride when we're not talking about American pride and protecting our border. As millions on millions have walked across it, this thing called trans and all these other elements have become at the forefront and amplified by big media. And if CNN, MSNBC, and Washington Post, New York Times can amplify things that divide us, they can keep us focused and upset with each other while the elites continue to do what they do, which is make hand grabs across the country, like Bill Gates, who's gobbling up land around the country, which threatens our food supply. And certainly as our communities are going to change with new people who we don't know from different countries. And so creating this kind of chaos is what Russia wants. Creating this kind of chaos of division by introducing a new flag, a pride flag into our country, is what China wants. It's in their best interest, and they don't have to send over missiles to hurt America. Our enemies can continue to divide us, and we'll fight each other, and that will be the death knell of America, not a missile from a foreign country. So that's why it's so important for this administration, Biden administration, and the far left, and the socialists and communists that have interdicted into our colleges and universities. And then there's something just called pure evil. I mean, evil and good will be with us always. That fight for good and evil is there. And when you see people who are trying to infiltrate our kids' minds and trying to turn them into their own prey, and to have lewd acts and sexual acts and parades, or confusing kids with men dressed up as women, this is a good versus evil fight. And as long as these churches are focused on just the Bible and not being able to say, hey, how do we use this blueprint called the Bible to fight this good fight against evil, then you're going to continue to get overrun by the pride community and the things that they want. And squeaky wheels get that grease, and that's how that 1% is done. There's a squeaky wheel, and they get all the attention.
I was arguing with somebody a while back, and we're in this thing, and he called me a cis man. Well, I thought I was being insulted, but then I find out there's all these terms for gender fluid or non-binary, and I didn't know what that meant. And I started reading it, and I thought, when I was a kid, there would have been laying of hands, by the praying out the demons if that stuff was going on. Which brought me to the drag queen story hour. Whoever came up with that idea, I don't know, but we were arguing about it when the guy said, well, they haven't hurt anybody, and I said, look, I would be against stripper story hour. I'm against the sexual exploitation of our children.
Yes.
This is wrong. So I shouldn't even have to explain to you why this is wrong. This has no place in our education system.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
And I don't know, how far it's going to go. I'm really afraid if we don't make some kind of stand or do something in the next, I don't know what this country will look like in the next 20 years.
So the reality is, America has always been enduring throughout history, and we've been challenged before with war. We've been absolutely challenged by having a lack of fast healing for those 400 years of slavery. We have been divided on cultural issues and social issues, but we never were divided over the flag. Even my great uncles who served, and it's in my video, my campaign video. If you ever take a look at it, you'll see. My great uncle served World War I, World War II, and grandfather served in World War II, and would be able to come back, and still had to sit in the back of the bus, and still had to drink out of colored water fountains, and their kids still had to go to all black schools. So something has changed, and I think that changed under Obama, where he said it was okay to be tribal, to be able to say, okay, I'm black and I'm proud, and I'm also anti-American. And this is not the first anti-American movement that we saw. We saw it during Vietnam and after Vietnam, and those people are now baby boomers. Those people who smoke weed and had long hippie hair are now 75, 76 years old, and they're in power and they're in control. And I think when that generation passes away and the next generation comes, I think you'll see some of those things pass away with them. The racism, the hatred of America, and I think that you'll see the country come back again. Sometimes people have to die off, and I think that's why they're going after because they want to revive, keep that going.
Pointed out something interesting about the flag I want to touch on. Here's something in here. I haven't totally, I don't know if you've read my stuff, but I have an outside the box look on things. When the whole Kaepernick kneeling down during the national anthem stuff, I was one of the people that I actually supported it, and I'll tell you why. You know, that's his constitutional right to do that, and there were people that fought wars to give him that right. So he was almost honoring the sacrifice that these people put up to be able to do that. Because imagine if he did it in Russia or China.
Yeah, I've heard that argument. Of course, I believe that there's a lot of blood and there are a lot of white crosses in Arlington around this country of men who have given their life for people to have a freedom of speech. But the reality, though, is that speech is not free. And ultimately, when you talk about Kaepernick, the issue is not whether or not he has the right to free speech and do those things. The issue is, do you have the right to do it on your job? And that's what. So the separation is not his right to speak freely, to kneel. But do you have a right to kneel on your job where you're getting paid, and you're getting paid for commercial value? Do you have a right to turn your back to the flag when your employer is supportive of that flag? And if you want to do that outside of your employment, outside the stadium, then that's fine. But what he was trying to do was hijack America because he had the eyeballs of those watching TV. And to me, that was the most dangerous part of it, is that you interdicted that into your employer, which is the National Football League. And that's why I stood on it.
You know, one thing that bothered me during that whole thing is they focused on Kaepernick and the other guy beside him. They didn't focus on the other 53 players that were standing there with their hands on their heart.
Because the whole agenda of the left, unfortunately, is to amplify victimhood. So the second thing that they do is show you one side of the story. They amplify one side of the story that they agree with. So if you have a situation where Kaepernick is kneeling, why did all the cameras focus on him and did not give equal time to those other 100 players on both sides of the field who were standing with their hand open? And this is the way that the mind control makes left right and right left, black and white black, and we become psychologically fixed upon whatever that camera shows us, whatever it points to and deems important. And I thought they were equally. I think that if you want to have a story told regarding Kaepernick, you should have equally had the story told and the video presented from those other players standing with their hand over their heart.
I agree 100%. So I want to ask you one more question because I know you're a busy man. I'm not going to keep you. During your lifetime, I don't know how old you are. How have you seen or the racial I can't think of the word I'm looking for, grow and improve? I mean, you're talking about drinking from water fountains and having to sit by the back of the bus. I mean, how much progress have we made as far as true equality?
I don't believe that there's equality anywhere. I think that's a false premise. There's nothing in life that's equal. There is an equal opportunity, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get equal outcome. I mean, I'm an athlete. I played on sports teams. Maybe you did as well. I don't think that just because I work hard every day and stayed up late night worked out, that and earned my starting position in whatever the sport was, that you should get the equal place that I am, and you have to put in that work. And of course, people say, well, there's structural racism. Yes, there has to be structural racism. But I live in a state, I live in a community that, especially in Huntsville, Alabama, North Alabama, I've lived all over this country, Detroit, Michigan, and I've seen black folks prosper. I know more black millionaires, and then I see black millionaires playing in basketball and football, but I also know black millionaires who work as engineers, as doctors, as lawyers. And so this whole thing that black folks have not advanced. Go to Atlanta, see how many Mercedes-Benz or any of your high-fly cars are riding around with black folks driving. So this country's come a mighty long way, and it's come to a point where black folks have to stop making excuses, because you have people from India who come here in one generation. They are doing extremely well. You have people who are running across the border to get to America who put roofs on houses every day. They're doing very well. So excuse story time is over. And so that's where I'm at. My parents both graduated from college, and their kids graduated from college more than twice. And if they didn't, we have people in our family who have their own small businesses. So if you can eat in this atmosphere of prosperity, then maybe you need to go back to Africa, because there is nobody out here who doesn't have an opportunity to make their lives better. That's a lot. You have a chance. If you don't have it in your neighborhood, then possibly you can do something else. And that's just where I'm at. I'm tired of excuses, tired of victimhood. And I'm looking at immigrants, even African immigrants who come to this country. They outperform victims of slavery every single metric, academically and a lot financially. They come to this country from Africa, and they do better. So excuse story time is over. Let's move forward.
All right, last two. Critical race theory. What's your thoughts on that?
On which skin?
Critical race theory.
See, I'm not a critical race theory person because, as I said earlier, critical race theory automatically shuts out other parts of the conversation. I do believe in critical faith theory. That's where I stand. I believe if we start the conversation with the Bible and start using aspects of the Bible and the blueprint of the Bible, then you can start going and make the divisive things, because I think that history is what it is. Now, the conversation around what's included in critical race theory, I don't even know what that really is. If you're teaching black history, and the history is factual, that is not critical race theory. That is history that's being taught, that's accurate. And so I don't have a problem with the history that's being taught, that's accurate. Otherwise, it's called brainwash. So I don't know what critical race theory is when it comes down to what the definition is, because people are using critical race theory and defining it 10 different ways. What I believe is that a child needs to learn the basic aspects of what it means to be operative in our society today, meaning your reading, your math, your arithmetic. And then if there's an opportunity for kids to know the history of this country, of this state, that's fine as well. So for me, I don't know what the definition of critical race theory is. I do know that, like I support monuments. If I can support a Confederate monument standing, I can support a book that tells the accurate story of slavery.
That's an amazing answer. And, yeah, I'm good friends with Troy King. I'm sure he won't mind me quoting this, but we was talking about that the other day, and he said, "Go ask 10 people what critical race theory and what woke means." He said, what? Nobody knows what that means, and just like you said, there's 10 different definitions for all of that.
Yeah, I think the thing I would categorize when they say the woke, I think that the difference with critical race theory is it has 20 different definitions, right? Like I agree with Troy on that, very well. But I do also understand this aspect of wokeism, that black people have a definition of woke, and then there's a conservative definition of woke. So, one of the things I do know is that Bud Light sales are very low. That's outcome, and I think for the first time, Target as well, regardless of where you stand on the issue, wokeness has defined itself when everyday Americans just stop buying your product. That's woke in plain sight.
Excellent.
But I appreciate you.
Hey, let me wait. I got one more. It'll be real quick. Can I get the first interview, and then can I be your press secretary when you're elected governor?
Hey man, if we can win something, then I tell you what, you'll be on the staff for sure.
Thanks for the conversation and having this opportunity to interview you. You're a fascinating man, and good luck.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.